I don't know why I waste my energy with you.
Well, you're not actually telling me because you've told me this before.
Do you want to do you want to talk about Catherine Kitson patterns on a handbag or something? I'm going to talk to these people instead of you because you're not friendly.
Get me out a shot.
I'll just get the shot on me because it's far more attractive look anyway. Just don't touch me ever again. I went through this bridge a few years ago. As I rounded that corner, the way the sun was catching it was incredible. I remember thinking, wow, this is just like heaven. That is an absolutely beautiful, beautiful shot. So I've just left Atherstone. It's 7:10 in the morning. There's a fantastic sunrise going on and I've come across this bridge. Just look at that. I mean, I'm an atheist, but do you think that might be the entrance to heaven? I don't know. Yeah, really nice.
Red for the ducks.
Always enjoy the alpaca farm. Oh, yeah. Oh, Mrs Loves has come up with the goods again.
You got a little extra treat.
I can see some bacon on there.
Yeah.
So I was having sausage.
You've had sausage and bacon.
Oh,
I know how to please the man.
I love you from the bottom of my bottom.
Ew.
Things have changed, missus.
I haven't got my mic on. That's something that hasn't changed.
Oh, I've got mine on, and I'm standing close to you because you're under this brolly. It's gone cold as well, isn't it? I bet you want to be back in bed where you were all day yesterday.
To be fair, yes.
Oh well, then just crack on. Got a few hours to do yet. So, making progress. The sun's come back out as well. It's good news. Right. We're just coming through Nuneaton now. So Marston Junction is the other side of Nuneaton really. So we're getting there. Saw the little level increase in the canal about a mile ago. You think, oh, well, must be coming in towards a town. It just blows along then, doesn't it? I think a lot of people tend to see, urban canals and why do they throw all that rubbish in the canal? Well, they don't actually. I mean, yeah, they'll throw the tyres and the shopping trolleys and things like that, but the paper litter, bottles, things like that, generally they're blown in. It's the streets are dirty. The streets have got litter. People throw stuff out of their car windows and things like that. And it just blows and it blows and it blows until it hits water. When it hits water, it no longer blows, it just floats along. And so the water, in a way, is a bit of a trap for litter, and it just makes it look horrible. The first fisherman I've seen today. I was bottom of Alveston locks. So, yeah, trying to get onto the Ashby Canal. Yeah, going up there. Apparently, my boat's not too deep, so I should be alright. They reckon it's very shallow up there. So this is Griff Lane Bridge, Bridge 17 on the Coventry Canal. Which is here. So Griff is where the Ashby Canal was originally going to come into. But it ended up coming in down here. There we are at Marston Junction. So that goes to Coventry, ultimately Oxford, and then this is the Ashby Canal. So this is Marston Bridge. So have a look what this board says. There you go. Well done. So the Ashby Canal was, there was an Act of Parliament passed in 1794 granting permission for this to be created, and it was actually finished in 1804, and it did very well. It was very profitable right up to sort of the 1890s. Then the railways were heavily involved at that point, and the coalfields were starting to dry up a little bit. It went through the Leicestershire coalfields, so the final 9 miles of this all collapsed in. So part of it was shut down in around about 1940, and the final bit of it was shut down in 1966. So this only now runs for about 22 miles, as it used to run for 30-ish miles. You did all right there. I only heard a couple of little kisses.
It's only after. I think I was alright.
That would have been a stop lock at some point, so they could stop water losses and things.
Ain't nothing gonna stop us now, babe.
Stop lock, charging for the goods to be transported, etc. So this is it, new canal.
Okay.
Never been on this before. Be another bit of our canal map that we can colour in. Supposed to be a little bit shallow in places, gets a little bit narrow in places, I think, but we shouldn't have too much of an issue because we're generally a little bit shallower than other boats, so I think we'll be all right.
Famous last words.
And we need to look out for water voles.
Okay.
It's a very famous canal for water voles. They're not water rats, even though they might initially look like it. They're a bit stumpier. You know, rats are long. The voles are a bit more of like a furry ball.
A little bit meatier.
Yeah, it tastes better.
Potentially that's all we've got to eat tonight.
Water vole.
Vole sandwich.
I'm sure we'll find something. I can soon knock up a mean plate of beans.
Got no beans.
Yeah, we have, saw them.
Got no beans, got no stone.
I can create some sort of bean chilli. I could.
I know, I'm not saying you could.
I'll go foraging.
Ooh. Actually, we have got some mushrooms.
Okay, there you go. We're getting there. There'll be some wild garlic somewhere. I can go and forage for wild garlic.
Or I do have some garlic puree in the cupboard.
There you go. Forage the cupboard. Yeah, so there used to be, it goes through about 9 miles of the Leicestershire coalfield, which is what it was all about. It's what it was for, this canal, to get that coal out of there and get it down into Coventry, Bedworth, Nuneaton, ultimately, you know, again, down towards Oxford and stuff. But so the canal, the pits were all underneath it, and so subsidence started to happen, and there was significant breaches, and they closed a bit, and then they closed a bit more, and then they closed a bit more, and they've since put some of it back into water, but we can't get to it because it's like detached. And I think there's a restoration project underway to try to link it back up again. But obviously, I suppose they've got to make sure that nothing else is going to subside further. It's a nice bridge. You find the bridges are a little bit wider because the initial plan was for it to be wider boats. There's a tunnel towards the end, Swarkston Tunnel I think it is. The costs of this canal kept spiralling. I was doing some reading about it, so I haven't got all the dates, but from the initial applications of wanting to create this canal in the sort of the 1780s-ish. It went backwards and forwards, it kept getting thrown out of Parliament. Different people were putting quotes in that they couldn't, that weren't achievable, because then they'd see something else. They were going to have locks on somewhere, at some point it was going to go a different route. There were different engineers who were putting different proposals in. So it took quite a while for them to decide how to do it. And they decided eventually on this level plain. So we've obviously come up the 11 locks at Atherstone to a plateau, and this is on that same plateau. If you look at it on a map, it's very twisty, very windy, twisty. Nice bridges though. It's like stone, aren't they? Not brick. They're made of stone. See any voles yet?
No.
Sun's coming out again. So what, Mrs Lumsden charges herself with electricity and discharges into me on a regular basis. That hurt, that one did.
Jeez, hurt my finger.
How are you getting charged up with stuff? Them Ugg boots.
There's the same rubber soles as yours.
I hate electric shocks.
They're not exactly pleasant for me either.
You know the kids have these games where you can click a pen top or something and you get a little shock off it, or those games that you hold and you get. I can't do that. I can't do it because I hate it. I hate the feeling of an electric shock. You know where it comes from, I think? When I was about 20 and I used to do my rallying stuff, and I did all my own maintenance. And you know what I'm like with maintenance and DIY and stuff. I kind of just do things and get by. I got an electric shock off my car once. A proper one.
Because throws you off.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Because even though it's a 12-volt circuit on a car, or the old car, used to have a coil. The coil, again, I don't know the science of it, but it used to massively boost the charge up to something really big, so that you could get the sparks. The spark plugs were going like this, and all of that sort of thing. So it's the high tension circuit it was all part of. And I don't know how I did it, what I did, but I touched the back of the coil when the ignition was on. And it was like I would imagine being hit by Mike Tyson in the face. I can't explain it. It hurt. It really hurt. It hurt me here in the middle here, but I touched the back. It was the back of my hand, and it threw. I went poof. And I flew backwards from the car and landed on the floor in a daze. You know, could have died. People die from that high tension circuit. And ever since then, I've been a bit.
See, that's not surprising.
I've been a bit wimpy with electric shocks. Anybody wants to play the electric shock game with me? Nah. Not doing it. Not playing it.
I've read somewhere that the static electricity, because I've noticed in the past couple of years, it's constant, no matter what.
It's nothing to do with your menopause. Don't blame that.
Mark my words.
Is this another menopause issue?
It is. I read about it in Davina McCall's book. I was like, oh yeah, I've noticed that I keep shocking everybody and getting shocks myself. But if you slow that camera down, you'll actually see the arc.
Probably will. You'll see my face go. Just don't touch me ever again.
I try not to. I didn't mean to then. It was an accident.
I've got another interesting fact.
Oh, okay. thought my electric shock had got you out of those.
No, it's along the lines of electricity. You know, I'm very interested in the history of canals, and
You know I'm not.
no, you'll like
Okay.
this.
Just putting that out there.
I'm going to talk to these people instead of you because you're not friendly.
Get me out of shot.
I just get the shot on me because it's far more attractive look anyway.
And I can just keep chipping in behind you.
Yeah, chipper.
Like concentrating.
Well, look, what you do? Where are you going?
I wasn't concentrating, that's what I said. I am now. You're alright.
You've still got to concentrate on what your back end's going to do now that you've.
Concentrating on my back end, you're fine, don't worry.
Let me concentrate on your back end. Anyway, this thing. So I'm very interested in the history of the canals and how it all happened, and so I guess James Brindley is a big factor in that. And then I started looking at different things, and I got very interested in the Lunar Society. The Lunar Society being the likes of Erasmus Darwin, James Watt, Matthew Bolton.
Had this conversation before.
I possibly have.
Yeah.
What I'm leading to, because there's a bit a lot of people watching this vlog that haven't watched my old stuff. Why not? Go and watch them, and then you'll see all this interesting stuff I've already spoken about.
Now, for the people that have, don't you think you might be bored?
People that I have, they're probably getting an exaggerated version.
A refresher.
They're getting an upgrade on the past version because it was boring. So anyway, those brilliant people, sort of mid 1700s, would meet on a regular basis to get together to discuss what they can invent and what does the world need and how do we make the industry happen and all that brilliant stuff they did. And so I wanted to know a little bit more about their backstories and just the general time that they were alive. I was actually thinking about writing a musical for it, which probably will never happen, but I think it would work. But it was all about discovery. They were experimenters. They were called.
Alchemy.
Well, that was part. Alchemy was chemistry, wasn't it? I suppose it was an early word for chemistry, but they were just discovering. They were discoverers. They were experimenters, and so they came across electricity. Here's the link. Here's the link to the electric shock thing. They came across electricity, obviously because it exists, doesn't it? They don't invent electricity because it exists naturally. We just proved it with an electric shock like that. So it's physics. But when what they did was they started to work out a way of how to capture that electricity and then use it for different things. So the rich people of the day they had a toy where they were able to capture this new power that they'd got in this jar of some type, and realised that you could send this power down a metal rod, like a nail or something like that. They could realise they could pass it through that, and it became a game to touch the rod because it was funny, because it would make them go like that. And then the game became, let's all hold hands in a line and one person touches the rod and everybody in the line goes like that. That was a thing. So they were that interested in it, they didn't understand it.
Hiya. And so the last one in line eventually died.
No.
I thought, oh, this is probably not such a good idea.
No, it was just fun. Like, we still have fun with electricity now. They have these electric shock games, don't they, where people think it's funny. So back in the 1760s, 1750s, 1760s, when they had no idea what this thing was, it was the height of entertainment to give each other electric shocks. There you go. That was in those early days of trying to understand how to make things work. I just think all that's incredible. Falls on deaf ear. I don't know why I waste my energy with you.
Well, you're not actually telling me because you've told me this before.
Do you want to
I've heard it all
what do you want to
before.
talk about? Catherine Kitson patterns on a handbag or something?
Do you know what? I actually don't want to talk about anything. I would just like to appreciate the calmness and the tranquility instead of hearing.
Don't even know why I married her.
Well, we could soon arrange for that to change.
Are we there yet?
No, where are we going?
We've just got to keep going. We've got a big job on today.
What time is it now?
So once you can get past this boat, full beans.
Full beans.
Yeah. Sod the water voles.
Oh.
They'll surf into the next field.
No.
Give them a chance to sort of find another little bit of territory. No, you know I don't mean that.
I know you don't.
Protect the canal.
Absolutely. It's a double standard.
No washing away banks and stuff. It's quiet, isn't it?
I know. Beautifully quiet.
See the things you find when you come out for a walk. Stoke Golding.